Self-awareness is a superpower. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. Mercury and Libra. So, Mercury being the planet of information, communication, and being extremely curious, in the planet Libra, who is ruled by Venus and rules the seventh house. I feel like when Mercury is here, this shows a person who is interested in conversations or information that basically similar to Gemini. Libra is very similar to Gemini for me as far as not liking to deal with heavy information, liking to keep things light. And yeah, liking to keep things light. So I feel like with Mercury here, you might find that you are interested in a bunch of different things, whether it's media related, like say, I don't know what celebrities might be doing, like what this celebrity is doing, what they did, how they did, whatnot. Things like that might be important to you, or you might consume information having to do that with that, or even information having to do with like beauty and pleasure, not in the sense of Taurus, but basically like beauty as far as like best dressed and makeup tutorials and things like that. I feel like the heavy part of Mercury in Libra is the lawyer, where Libra represents the scales, and the scales has to do with balancing things out. It could have to do with justice and, fairness, honesty, and things like that. But also what that means to me when I think of the scale and I think of Libra, I imagine Libra on one scale and the people or things that they value, that they want to bring into their lives, they put those things on the other scale and they balance those things against themselves to go with the things that give them value. So with Mercury and Virgo, you are probably always consuming information that will add value to yourself and looking into things to see how you can make yourself better. Because I find that people with, say, Sun in Libra or strong Libra energy, it's like, because this is a relationship oriented sign, the sign is always relating themselves to others in ways to see how they can become partners or team up with other people in order to make a difference and bring value to themselves. Because I feel like Libra tends to underestimate their ability and underestimate what they're capable of and what they can bring to this world. And I feel like you might find that to be something that you could relate to, having Mercury in Libra, where it's like you realize that you know things because you study really hard and you're passionate about certain things. But at the same time, before you are brave enough to speak up what you know, you might balance it against what everybody else is saying, because it's like, not that you don't want to be wrong, but I find that Libra don't like to rock the boat. Libras don't like to speak or communicate in ways that's going to cause other people to be mad at them. So with Mercury and Libra, you might find that even though you're a Scorpio, where you identify with by being someone who is independent, someone who loves the one you love, care about the ones you care about, but at the same time, you're not that much of a people person. You could give a fuck what other people think. With your Mercury and Libra, it's like, even though you identify as one way, you might find that you communicate in a totally different way. So it's like how you feel, because the sun represents our identity, who we identify as, and Mercury is the information we consume. And the information we consume can play a major part in the way we see ourselves in the world and the kind of lives that we manifest. It's like that's not in alignment, because Mercury is the smallest, fastest moving planet and closest to the sun. Imagine the sun, as the king, and Mercury is the king's messenger. Life and death is often in the messenger's hands. So when the messenger, Mercury, is not closest to the king, which is where your sun is, basically there could be delays in communication. There could be delay in information. So who you identify as and what you think can be a major delay in those things, to where it's like people might question your sincerity because they're picking up on what you identify as and what's coming out of your mouth, where what's coming out of your mouth and the energy that you're giving off based on who you identify as might not be in alignment. So that can create trust issues. Same where your sun is in Virgo and you identify as, this basically someone who wants to be of service to others and wants to be used. When I say used, I don't mean taken advantage of, but like, let me help, let me be of service. Your sun is there, but your Mercury is in Libra. And it's like, I feel like that is not too bad, having your sun in Virgo, your Mercury in Libra, because Libra will be communicating in a diplomatic way. Mercury in Libra is very diplomatic in their communication and communicates in ways that bring other people together, where people don't have to feel left out or left behind, because Libra knows how to make other people included. So your speech will do that. But if you identify, say your sun is in Scorpio, and you know who recently I heard who has this placement? Okay, I think Bill Gates is a Scorpio and his Mercury is in Libra. So, if you ever listen to him speak or observe him speaking, it's like he speaks, about, the greater good of the all and the community and us and we. But at the same time, when you hear about his agendas and what he's doing, it doesn't match. And I was watching a video not too long ago on NBC or something, one of them, and he was getting interviewed and they were asking him about vaccinations and things. And it's like he's smiling while he's talking. And in the comment box, people was talking mad crap, because they're like, why the hell is he speaking at such a time like this? And I feel like the reason why he was smiling is because he identifies one way, but consumes information that's totally different from how he identifies. So he speaks in a way that is different from who he identifies as. And I feel like he himself, basically because he's not feeling what he's saying, he has to put on a certain presentation in order for people to receive it the way he wants them to receive it. But obviously they're not receiving it the way he wants them to, because they're like, why the hell are you smiling? Shit is serious. But that's because there's a disconnect between who he identifies as and the words that he is communicating. So that's what can happen when the sun is in a planet in front or behind, and not the sun, I'm sorry. That's what happened when Mercury is in a planet in front or behind where your sun is. When Mercury is closest to the sun, then who you identify as, the information that you consume is in sync. Your mind is sharp, it works fast, and you are able to trust it. The challenging part of that is, as you think it, you will speak it, and that could be a bit of an issue, because for me as a child, that used to always get me in trouble. I would think it and speak it and get my ass whooped, even though it wasn't my intention to hurt people's feelings or be disrespectful. I was just saying it like I see it. But yes, with Mercury and Libra, you guys are very diplomatic communicators. I feel like one thing that could be probably annoying for some people when you guys are speaking is that your ability to sugarcoat things. Your ability to sugarcoat things, because Libra likes to keep the peace. Libra don't like to upset people or rock the boat. So you will always try to communicate in a way that will get your message across, but not upset others. And I feel like even though that can be helpful in certain situations, sometimes people want the truth. Sometimes people, not the truth, but sometimes people, it's like trying to sugar it up or trying to make it sound good and deliver a certain way may not seem honest, when it's not that you're being dishonest, it's just that you're very conscious about the way you speak. You know how powerful words are, and you know that words can pretty much start wars or they can make peace, because again, you guys are good with words. You guys make great lawyers or mediators because you know how to choose the right words in order to get your point across. You know how to communicate without getting your emotions involved. So that's what also makes Mercury and Libra good judges, because you're able to consume information and say, okay, even though this person committed this crime and the crime was wrong, I can see why it was necessary for them to commit the crime in order to survive. Where someone else might look at it immediately and say, that was a horrendous act and they should be hung. Libra, Mercury and Libra could look at it, take the emotions out of it, and make a practical decision based on the emotions that they gather. So yeah, those are some of the powerful things that happen when Mercury is in Libra. If you have made it to the end, drop me a heart in the box. Show me some Libra love if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Give me a thumbs up to help the channel grow, or give me a thumbs up because you like the content. Subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.